Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for responding. That was great, Gully.
Good morning,
I have to stand on this little stone because I'm so little. Thank you all for coming today to kick off this wonderful campaign. And it's great to see so many of our future voters here, and that is a tribute to the kind of community work that Tom has already demonstrated that he will do for us in this community. So we're really happy. I'm honored, truly honored to be able to introduce to you our next clerk and recorder of the city and county of Denver. Tom has a long history of giving to our community in the works that he does, not in his professional life, but as he does as a parent and a member of our community. But then when you take a minute and you look at what he's done in his professional life, he's leaving the Secretary of State's office, working on elections and business licenses, just leads him right nicely into the office that he is seeking with your support. The work that he did in redistricting years ago, working with our Attorney General, Mr. Salazar. He's just done it all. He's the guy who's going to get it done. And we have some challenges with our elections in Denver. We've been really fortunate to have Stephanie O'Malley lead the way, but we have to make sure that we get somebody in there that is going to see to it that every vote gets counted and everyone who deserves to vote gets a ballot and gets to vote. We need someone with honesty and integrity who cares about everybody. That's why we need Tom Downey, and I need you to sign this petition if you haven't, and we got to get him going. Tom.
Thank you all for coming. The reason that I was so excited to have Khadijah introduce me is because Khadijah gets things done. We have worked together a lot, and when you want to get something done, you call up Khadijah, you say, let's go have a drink, and you hammer it out in about 10 minutes, and then you drink the rest of the time. So, coffee. You're drinking coffee. So I was talking with Kate last week, and she said, Daddy, why do you want to be clerk? And it sent a message to me that people don't really know what the Clerk and Recorder's office does. And so that's the first thing I have to explain. The clerk runs the elections. It is so important that everyone have not just the right to vote, but the ability to vote, that elections are run well, that elections are run with transparency, that people have their ballot, that they have all of the options that they need. It is something that I've been working on for an awfully long time, including in Ken Salazar's office and through the redistricting battle, and it is something of significant importance to me, and that's important, and that's what everybody knows about. The part that isn't sexy, that people don't know about, is the everything else. And that's what I've been doing in the Secretary of State's office. Taking over the business and licensing divisions, merging them is the charge that Bernie Busher gave me, and it's to run that operation. And it's the same thing at the city level. What the city does is it's the Clerk and Recorder's office is the keeper of all the records. It's marriage licenses and it's all city contracts. It is where you go for liens and foreclosures and the public trustee and real estate documents. And it's the archives. It's all of those things that you want to make sure the city has in order. And this process for me started in the Children's Museum. I'm thrilled that there's some folks here from the Children's Museum. And the turnaround that we did there was not because we got some $1 million grant. The 61% increase in revenues over 4 fiscal years, the 41% increase in attendance over those years was not because of some big donor. It was because of $7 a pop, people walking in the door. It was the word of mouth, and it was based on customer service. And that's the reason that Bernie Busher brought me into the Secretary of State's office, because there were some real issues that needed to be fixed, and we've gotten to do that, and it's been wonderful, taking that same management approach, that same focus on customer service. The one downside of this job is that it is more fodder for Lori to make fun of me. She has a ream right now but it is difficult because she will say, tell me about your job, because I'll be pumped about what I'm doing in the Business and Licensing Division, and she will say, as sweetly as she possibly can, that is the most boring thing I've ever heard of. Don't tell people what you do because they will fall asleep. Well, unfortunately, it's the same thing at the Clerk and Recorder's office, but fortunately, it's a passion of mine. I'm so excited about processes, about management, about organization, about filing, about getting these things right. And it's something I've been working on, and it's something that I pledge to you that I'm going to do as Clerk and Recorder. So we can't do this alone. I know that there have been wonderful things said about, oh, no real opponents and this and that. Doesn't matter. This is a down ballot race. We have to get the message out. We have to get on the ballot. We have to let people know. So the first thing that I want to ask you to do is, if you haven't already, we have our petitions. Please sign them if you are willing to take a petition. We need to get the signatures so we can get on the ballot. We want to be the first ones out. We want to have 5 times the number that we need to have. We want to get on the ballot. We want to get on the ballot strong. There are kids here, which is wonderful. I'm never shaking my Children's Museum roots, so please sign them up for Kids for Tom Downey. We have the chair right here. My assistant, we were walking into our first speech a couple weeks ago. It was a House District meeting, and I was feeling on top of it. I was feeling like a candidate, feeling in charge, and you forget that you're also a dad. We're walking in, and we pass by a VW Bug, and she says, Daddy. I turn, and she socks me right in the stomach and says, blue one, blue one. So we have the team to keep us in reality check as well. So thank you all for coming. Please sign the petitions. Please sign your kids up. And now I want to entertain you by telling you that we can go. We're not going to keep you in the cold. That's the end of the speeches. So thank you all very much. Thank you.
Go, Tom! Go, Tom! Go!
Thank you for coming. You haven't signed. Come sign. Come sign.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
And Gwen, of course, you know, who told me yesterday that she'd gotten such